Hello, and welcome to another, not quite rage rant, but somewhat upset rant about the position in which World of Tanks is going. Now, some of you may have already seen this. It's on the official World of Tanks it's on the forums and on their main page, and it's about a new update coming in version 10 to tank customization. Now, I want to get this out of the way straight away. I think that this is a bad idea for the current game. Now, whereas the Kanonenjagdpanzer was a bad idea in the way in which the game is developed, I think that this particular update is the opposite to the Kanonenjagdpanzer. I think that tank customization could work if they changed certain things. Now, I just want to quickly go over to the forums because I think the entire population pretty much sums up what we all think of this. And we can see here that the first comment with 75 likes is worst idea ever. Reasonable, isn't it? I mean, he doesn't exactly go into explaining why it's the worst idea, but you know, he gets the idea across. But the thing with this update is that everyone is overlooking the idea that this is something that actually could have affected people in real life. Now, I'm not trying to say that if you were in World War II and you painted your tank a certain colour or you painted a certain word on the tank, suddenly your tank became invincible. I'm not trying to say that at all. What I'm trying to say is that if you were linked with your tank and had a strong connection with it, say you'd put a certain word on or a certain phrase that meant a lot to you, you probably would perform stronger to try and protect your tank, to work with it. Excuse me. And this is something that a lot of people are ignoring. They're saying it's a bad idea and then moving on. And the reason they're saying it's a bad idea is because gold. And what this is effectively doing is saying that if you put albums or words on your tank, it will increase your crew and it will increase the way in which your tank performs. Now, in a certain way, we already have this. The camouflage system happens to increase camouflage by, I think it's roughly 3% for light tanks. And no one's ever complained about that before. But now that this new system is going to increase crew skills as well, which means that crew skills are going to be bumped. So say, for example, you've added the camouflage on and that increases the tank's camouflage by 3%. If you then put God Save the Queen on your British tanks with camouflage, the overall effective camouflage will increase even further because the crew skills have gone up to, I don't know, 125% or whatever it is. And that effectively means that if you want to be competitive in the game, you've got to spend money. And personally, I think this could work if Wargaming did something similar to the way in which they've done gold ammunition. Gold ammunition used to be, well, you spend gold on it. Whereas now it's more, not gold ammunition, but slightly more expensive credit ammunition. And if Wargaming did something similar with customization, it could work. You know, if I could pay, I don't know, 200,000 credits and get God Save the Queen painted on my tank forever, then I would be a little bit more open to the idea than having to spend, you know, a fiver or a pound or however much on doing it. And I think that would make the system work. The only other problem is that it's effectively forcing you to paint your tank. And there are some tanks in my garage that I don't want changed. I don't want to put camouflage on them. I don't want to have to put inscriptions on them. For example, my Russian tanks. I don't understand Russian. Why the fuck would I want a Russian bit of painting on it? Because I will never understand what it means and it will be worthless to me. On the other hand, I'm probably going to like it on my Japanese and my English tanks because I can understand the language. So my 2 cents on the idea is that I can see where they're going with this. And the idea itself is nice. I like the idea. I think that it's something that could work with a little bit more thought and a little bit more development. But at the moment, it's just not going to work. I think if they made it so that you could permanently get camo for free by using credits, that would help the situation a lot. I think that if you could set whether or not you want camouflage and albums to show on a specific tank, something similar to the Mark of Excellence, like you can turn whether or not you can see marks of excellence on and off within the settings. I think if they did something like that, it would work slightly better. I think if you could individually change it for each tank as well, that would be even better. But I think overall, the main thing that Wargaming need to do at this point is listen to their player base. And they put it on the test server, and we can see, 285 people have said they dislike the idea. I don't see why you would not listen to that many people. Now, what would be a good point for Wargaming to do now would be to scrap the idea for now, but put in a poll and ask, why didn't you like it? If we did this, would it come out better? If we did that, would you prefer it? If they started to get a little bit more involved, like, say, for example, the part of Wargaming that deal with World of Warships, they're constantly talking with their player base. They're constantly asking what they want. Armoured Warfare, which I'm not going to go into too much depth because I've had problems with, but Armoured Warfare listened to their community. They put out specific polls to ask what the community wants. And Wargaming needs to start doing the same. I understand where Wargaming are going. I understand what they're trying to do, but it's not working. And with the best will in the world, Wargaming, I love your game. Making YouTube videos of it is one of the funnest things I do. But for the love of God, you need to listen to us. You're losing money by doing these bundles. You're losing money by trying to make things pay to win. If you did things in the way in which the community said, we would buy more. And that's overall what is important within Wargaming. You're a company, they're trying to make money, and they're not listening to us. I think that eventually they're going to hit a point where either they're going to listen or they're going to break down. And I'm pretty sure Wargaming will get to the point where they'll start listening. But they need to start listening fast. The community are constantly going against what people want. We're constantly saying, we don't want your bundles. We don't want this tank customization, and they're still going through with it. But I think that Wargaming will find ways to improve it eventually. I like where Wargaming are going. I really do. I think they just need to start listening a little bit more and asking for opinions before they put events into action. They really need to start putting up polls before they do things so people can vote and they can get their ideas heard and they can start working towards it. And I understand that, coming from Russia, that might not be the way they do things. They might have a different way of doing it. But especially with the EU, with the Americas, they need to listen. I know it's not their biggest market. I understand that. But there are people they can turn to and ask, can you set up these polls? Can you get us the results? And I'm sure a lot of community contributors would be happy to do it for free. I would be happy to put up polls. I would be happy to do certain things in order to help the game flow, but they're not involving us. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea of what's coming up with the tank customization. If you don't quite understand what I'm getting on about, I'm going to leave a link to this page in the video description, and I'm also going to leave a link to the discussion about it on the forums as well, so you can comment and reply and get your 2 cents heard. So, if you agree with me, I'm really glad we see eye to eye. If you don't, all the best will in the world. You know, there's no need to disagree. And please leave a comment saying why you agree, why you disagree. And remember to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.